Have you ever just looked up at the sky and wondered? I mean, really looked. The sun and the moon are up there every single day, you know? They're such a constant part of our lives that we almost take them for granted. But they are our original timekeepers, a giant cosmic clock that's been guiding humanity for, well, forever. And it all starts with a simple question.
So picture this. We're at the International Kite Festival in Ahmedabad. A young girl named Mira is flying her kite. The sun's going down. It's beautiful. But then she looks up and she notices something a little weird. High up in the sky, she can see the moon. But wait, it's still daytime. And she knows its shape changes all the time, but seeing it right there with the sun, that really got her thinking.
So to solve Mira's mystery, we're going to go on a little journey together. First, we'll tackle that daytime moon mystery. Then, we'll look at the moon's changing face. After that, we'll decode the light to understand the science. Then we'll see how we started keeping time with the sky. And finally, we'll connect it all to the festivals written in the stars. Okay, let's dive into part one, a daytime moon mystery. Let's start with that big question that Mira, and honestly, probably a lot of us, have asked. Why does the moon's shape seem to change all the time? This is the real head-scratcher, isn't it? We all learn in school that the moon is a big sphere, a giant ball hanging out in space. And we know it doesn't have its own light. It's basically a giant mirror for the sun. So, logically, shouldn't we see a bright, full circle every single night? Mira thought maybe it was an eclipse, but those are super rare. This is something that happens every single month, like clockwork. Something else has to be going on. So, before we get to the why, let's just take a moment to really look at the what. Part 2 is all about the moon's changing face. We're going to explore that predictable, beautiful cycle of our closest neighbor in space. Over about a month, we see the moon seemingly grow from just a tiny little sliver into a big, bright circle and then shrink all the way back down until it disappears. It's this beautiful, predictable rhythm, and these changing shapes are what we call the phases of the moon. Now, this whole cycle has two main anchor points. The day we see the moon as a perfect full circle, well, that's the full moon, or as it's known in India, Purnima. And on the flip side, the day it's completely invisible to us is the new moon, or Amavasya. These 2 days are like the turning points for the entire cycle. The journey between those 2 points has names too. When the bright part of the moon looks like it's getting bigger every night, that's called the waxing period, or Shukla Paksha. And when it looks like it's shrinking, that's the waning period, or Krishna Paksha. It's just a constant, rhythmic dance of growing and shrinking light.
All right, we've watched the cycle, we've learned the terms. Now for the big reveal. Section 3, Decoding the Light. We are about to pull back the curtain on the simple, totally elegant science behind the moon's magical changes.
Okay, here's the secret, and it's all about your point of view. Forget about shadows for a second. The simple truth is that one half of the moon is always lit up by the sun. Always. The phases we see from here on Earth, that's just our changing view of that sunlit side as the moon orbits around us. We're literally just seeing different angles of the moon's daytime side. That's it. Now this is a really common point of confusion, so let's clear it up once and for all. A lot of people think the phases are caused by the Earth's shadow falling on the moon. That is not correct. When the Earth's shadow does fall on the moon, that's a whole different thing. That's a lunar eclipse, and it's a much rarer event. See, for an eclipse to happen, the sun, the Earth, and the moon have to line up perfectly. A lunar eclipse can only happen during a full moon. A solar eclipse, only during a new moon. So why don't they happen every month? Well, it's because the moon's orbit is a little bit tilted compared to Earth's, so that perfect lineup is actually pretty rare. That's what makes eclipses so special and so different from the everyday phases. Okay, now that we get the science, let's talk about the incredible ways we've used it. Section 4 is all about keeping time with the sky. This predictable cycle wasn't just pretty to look at. For ancient civilizations, it became one of the first and most important clocks they ever had.
And here is the magic number. The time it takes for the moon to go from one full moon all the way to the next is about 29.5 days. This reliable, repeating cycle gave us one of our most basic units for measuring time, the month.
So from these celestial cycles, a few different kinds of calendars started to pop up. You've got your solar calendars, like the one most of the world uses today. They're based on the Earth's 365-day trip around the sun, which is great for tracking seasons. Then you have lunar calendars based purely on that 29.5-day moon cycle.
But many cultures, especially in India, use these really clever lunisolar calendars. They follow the moon for the months, but then every few years they add an extra month, and Adhika Masa, just to make sure the calendar stays lined up with the solar seasons. Pretty smart, right?
And this brings us to our final section, and it really brings everything home. Festivals written in stars. These cosmic clocks didn't just tell our ancestors when to plant crops, they became the very framework for our culture, our communities, and our biggest celebrations.
You can see this connection so clearly in so many Indian festivals. Think about it. Diwali, the Festival of Lights, is celebrated on Amavasya, the new moon, the absolute darkest night of the month. Holi, the Festival of Colors, bursts to life on Purnima, the full moon. Even Eid ul-Fitr celebrations don't begin until that first sliver of the new crescent moon is spotted in the sky. The sky isn't just a backdrop, it's an active part of the celebration.
And this influence goes so much deeper than just calendars and festivals. The moon's beauty and its mystery are woven right into the fabric of Indian culture. It has inspired musical ragas, these beautiful and complex hand gestures called mudras in classical dance. You can find it in countless forms of traditional art. It's just this constant, endless source of inspiration.
So, after all that, we want to leave you with one last thing to think about. We've seen just how profoundly our one single moon has shaped our science, our calendars, our culture, and our art. So just imagine for a second, what would happen